It has never been more clear as to the plan the Boston Bruins have for the goaltending next season. We're going to be talking about recent reports going from Joonas Korpisalo in the trade rumors once again, as well as the reason why this trade is coming very, very soon. We're going to be breaking it all down here in this video very quickly before we jump into it. If you're enjoying the content and you're looking for a spot for all of your Boston Bruins news here in this offseason, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join me here on the channel. We know that just over 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So like I said, we have a lot of news to cover here in this offseason, and we're going to have it right here first. So be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. But without any further ado, let's get into our first topic here. We're going over a little interesting look from last night's game in the Providence Bruins system. And Providence Bruins prospect Michael DiPietro was a significant reason for the Providence Bruins' win, a crucial win, in fact, over the Charlotte Checkers, saving 38 out of 40 shots. He's been a key to this playoff success, this season success for the Providence Bruins, but we're also looking at this as a future asset for the Boston Bruins. And with recent reports, as we know, of Joonas Korpisalo not being pleased with the Boston Bruins, many trade rumors are continuing to swirl around his idea of where he will play next season. And let's go back to it. A little reminder here from Joonas Korpisalo of what he had to say. He says, "I don't think there's any goalie in the league who's really comfortable playing 20 to 25 games, so I'm going to push for more games, and we'll see what happens. I was pretty open when I got into the season, and always, you just try to put everything you have out there, make your mark to gain some playing time." And let's be honest, we all knew that Joonas Korpisalo deserved a bit more playing time than he had gotten this season. We know that when we were looking at Jeremy Swayman, he was not playing to the level that we all wanted. And Michael DiPietro has been kind of hovering around this aspect of being able to crack the roster sooner rather than later. And the fact that Joonas Korpisalo has verbalized this, not said it internally, not kind of voiced it to Don Sweeney, to, Jim Montgomery at the time, to Joe Sacco, to Cam Neely, to anybody that, hey, I want more playing time. I feel like I deserve more playing time. And the Bruins trying to push Jeremy Swayman to get better this season obviously didn't work. It makes sense for the frustration, but when the Bruins are looking at his contract, what he had to say here, and the way that things are looking for the future, it seems like he is on his way out of the Boston Bruins organization. And as we mentioned, it all comes down to contract, playing style, and really being vocal about not being happy with this organization. And this kind of all comes down to what we have right here. A very interesting quote from an unnamed NHL executive saying, I hear his name more out there, more and more. He's not happy and thinks he's earned more playing time. He's more than open to exploring trade options, but they got calls. I know that, but what has materialized and how far, I can't tell you. But there was some interest. So this is very interesting, knowing that teams have indeed contacted the Boston Bruins about Joonas Korpisalo, about a trade involving him. Then we know the Bruins and Joonas Korpisalo would certainly be open to it. Korpisalo voicing that he wants more playing time, wherever that may be, whether or not it is with the Boston Bruins. And we're looking at the Bruins as a team who are trying to get every asset they can. And moving on from a contract that Korpisalo has will certainly be a good asset and quite a bit of cap space there to make a move that will impact and turn around the season the way the Boston Bruins want to, and be able to, maybe, I don't want to say guaranteed, but look to make the playoffs again next season. And there are some reports that the Bruins are going out of their way to do that. So that's something we're going to have to keep a little close eye on. But as we head over to Michael DiPietro's stats, because I want to talk about him really quick as well, and we're going to kind of go into the video a bit later as to how this would all work out when it does come down to the beginning of next season. He's been phenomenal this year, and I do know it's quite small there. At the bottom, you see very good stats throughout this regular season, 927 save percentage in the regular season in 40 games, and then the playoffs, still only 6 games in, but a 928 save percentage. He has been phenomenal this year, and if this doesn't, reward him with a chance to be in the NHL next year, be it a backup goalie, because we know that Jeremy Swayman will be the starter next year, I don't know what does. He's earned that chance, and it'll be very interesting to see how the Bruins go about it. And when we're looking at his contract as well, he is in the final year of his deal. It was a 1-year deal, was a two-way, $775,000 cap hit. This contract is, something that the Bruins don't want to give him another minor league deal. They want to move him into an NHL role, and now on this new contract would be the time to do so. Being able to put him in, get rid of Korpisalo, use some of Korpisalo's salary to pay Michael DiPietro and have him here. And at 25 years old, same age as Jeremy Swayman, this would be a great tandem. There's not very much experience there when it comes to your backup in the NHL level, but you have Jeremy Swayman, a guy who has said he is going to bounce back next year, a guy who said he is going to be better next year. And whether or not he is, it's still yet to be determined, but the way that we've seen him vocalize this here this offseason, it seems like he has no other choice, not just by him, but also by the Bruins standards. They're going to be pushing him to be better here in next season as he works toward this offseason. We're going to see a good look from him as well in the World Championships with Team USA that will hopefully, set him off the right foot here in the offseason, get some rest, and get back to it pretty quickly to make sure that he's ready for next season. And we're looking at Joonas Korpisalo's contract as well. Let's be honest, this was a terrible deal for the contract when it was signed. Korpisalo, very, very good with the LA Kings, but then we saw what happened in, Ottawa. Then we saw what happened first year Boston, which was this most recent season. Played well, but just really has not been able to get back what he was with LA, which was a starting caliber goalie. So when you're moving on from him, $4 million with 3 more years remaining on his contract in the expiry year of 2028, moving on from this contract is in the best interest of the Boston Bruins, mainly, and, Korpisalo being able to keep this contract but have it go somewhere else is just perfect for the Boston Bruins. He's making the money still, and it works out for all parties on this side. But moving on from this is something the Bruins have the idea of, have kind of said that, not necessarily said specifically, but hinted at the idea that they're going to be trying to move on from this contract, and it really makes sense. It just doesn't fit the scheme of the Boston Bruins, especially the way that we are right now, where we're on a bit of a retool, rebuild, whatever you want to call it, compared to being in the playoff spot still at this very moment. So looking at this, the writing has never been more clear on the wall that this has to happen, this needs to move on. And like I said, when you look at Korpisalo, his stats have been, when we look at Jeremy Swayman, stats have been, a bit iffy this year. That's been no surprise. When we go back to his previous years, he's been, very, very good. Very, very good, no doubt about that, and has earned that starter right. That's why he got that contract, and really goes to show that, we don't need DiPietro to go and play 48 games or, 41 games half the season like they did with Ullmark and Swayman. He's going to be the backup, so hopefully it works out well, and hopefully it just makes sense for this team to be able to do so. So let me know what you think in the comments below about all this. Korpisalo's contract is obviously the one that we're trying to move on from, and the way that the NHL executive has spoken about it, and I'll pull it up once again, the fact that they're exploring trade options and they have gotten calls, and this NHL executive, still not named by RG Media, this is who it comes from, they have confidence that this has happened. It's very interesting for what the Bruins' plan is going to be, but when we do look at Michael DiPietro here, when we do go look at him being as good as he is in these playoffs, and the Providence Bruins are still in this, still go see how far we go and see if this can continue. Depending on the result here, he has earned his spot, more so than Brandon Bussi necessarily because of the younger age, because of just the way he's played this season, and to be this backup here next year. So we'll have to see, of course, what happens in free agency, what happens in the draft. There's still many options for the Bruins to go out and get a netminder, but we have one in the house. We have one that will work out. We have one that I have full confidence in being able to patrol the net here with Jeremy Swayman in the NHL. So let me know what you think about this. Do you want to see Michael DiPietro up, or do you want to see another move? Let me know what you think. Of course, the Providence Bruins still in the playoffs. Be sure to go watch those games. Pretty good hockey down there. They're playing very, very well, and we got to cheer on the Bruins team, so be sure to do so. But like I said, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.